Now, before we start, I want you to sit with something real. Not something comfortable, not something convenient, but something true. Every man wants the girl. Every man wants the moment, the validation that comes with being chosen. But very few men ask themselves the real question: what do I do with the girl after I get the girl? Not the chase, not the sex, not the performance, not the highlight reel. I'm talking about the work, the leadership, the direction, the responsibility, the masculine weight of guiding a relationship with intention. Because getting her is the audition, keeping her is the job, building with her is the legacy. And if you don't have direction, you don't have a relationship. You have a situationship, a moment, a vibe, a temporary escape from your lack of purpose. Let's talk direction. Let's unpack that. Direction starts before the relationship. A man cannot lead a relationship if he cannot lead himself. Direction doesn't begin when she arrives. Direction begins long before she ever shows up. It begins with your personal vision. The picture of the man you're becoming, not the man you pretend to be, not the man you perform as, the man you're actually shaping through discipline. It begins with your core values, the principles that guide your decisions when nobody's watching, when life gets loud, when temptations get close, when your ego gets triggered. It begins with your emotional discipline, your ability to respond instead of react, your ability to breathe instead of explode, your ability to stay grounded when your emotions want to run. And it begins with your consistency, because consistency is masculine credibility. It is masculine currency. Consistency is what makes a woman relax. It's what makes her trust your direction. See, consistency is what makes her feel safe enough to follow. Direction starts before the relationship. If you don't know where you're going, you can't lead anybody anywhere. And if you don't know who you are, you'll lose yourself the moment she shows up. Now, I want to go over relationship vision. Because a relationship without direction becomes a relationship that drifts. A man sets direction by having a vision for the relationship, a relationship purpose. Why are we together? What are we building? What does partnership truly mean to us? What is our trajectory? Where is this going? Are we moving towards something? Or are we just moving? A lifestyle vision. What kind of life are we creating? What does peace look like? What does growth look like? What does home feel like? A woman doesn't follow a man because he's loud. She follows a man because he's going somewhere. See, direction is clarity. Direction is intention. Direction is leadership without control. Direction is purpose without pressure. When a man has a vision, the relationship has a direction. When a man lacks vision, the relationship becomes chaos. Now, I've told you what direction is, but direction requires structure. A man sets direction by establishing standards, not rules, not dominance, not control, standards. Communication standards, how we talk, how we listen, how we handle conflict, how we repair. Respect standards, how we treat each other, how we show up, how we protect each other's dignity. Conflict standards, how we disagree, how we de-escalate, how we return to connection. Your boundary standards, what we allow into the relationship, what we keep out, what we protect the bond from. Friends, family, exes, social media, old habits, immaturity, ego. Standards are the guardrails that keep the relationship on the road. Without standards, direction collapses. Without boundaries, connection gets contaminated. Without structure, love becomes unstable. Leadership is not a speech. Leadership is a rhythm. A man sets direction by creating rituals that keep the relationship strong. A weekly check-in. How are we doing? What needs attention? What needs adjustment? What needs healing? A monthly alignment. Are we still on the same page? Are we still moving towards the same vision? Shared habits, fitness, finance, faith, fun, growth. What about intimacy rituals? Not just physical, but emotional, mental, spiritual. Celebration rituals, wins, milestones, progress, moments of gratitude. Rhythm creates stability. Stability creates trust. Trust creates feminine openness. Direction is not loud. Direction is consistent. Direction is predictable in the best way. Direction is the masculine heartbeat of the relationship. Again, direction is not loud. Direction is not announced. Direction is embodied. A man sets direction through his behavior. Clarity. Say what you mean what you say. No confusion, no mixed signals. Calmness. Your emotional regulation is her emotional safety. Your calm is her comfort. Your steadfast is her stability. I want you to hear me, King. Your reliability is her relaxation. Your follow-through is her trust. Your discipline is her security. Courage. And what I mean when I say courage is initiating the hard conversations and addressing the uncomfortable truths. Leading with honesty even when it's inconvenient. You must have a level of compassion to lead without dominance, to show strength without coldness, display masculinity without emotional neglect, competence, handling life well enough to be trusted, managing your responsibilities, being a man she can rely on. Remember, presence over pressure, presence over performance, presence over pretending. Direction is a posture. Direction is a tone. Direction is a way of being. And during the way of being, you must protect the bond. A man must protect the relationship from internal and external threats. External boundaries, friends who don't respect the relationship, family who oversteps, exes who linger, social media that invites chaos. You must have internal boundaries, your ego, your insecurity, your immaturity, your old patterns. Digital boundaries, privacy, respect, discipline, repair protocols. How we fix damage quickly. How we restore connection. How we prevent resentment. Protection is not paranoia. Protection is priority. Protection is leadership. Protection is love expressed through responsibility. What about your legacy direction? See, direction becomes legacy when it becomes future focus. Family vision, financial vision, lifestyle vision, spiritual direction, long-term partnership goals. A relationship is not a phase. A relationship is a foundation. It's a legacy. A relationship is a future being built in real time. Direction is not just about today. Direction is about tomorrow. Direction is about the life you're building and the legacy you're leaving. Look, King, don't just listen to this. Do something with it. This week, define your personal vision. Set one relationship standard. Start one weekly ritual. Have one clarity conversation. Identify one boundary to protect the bond. Direction is not a concept. Direction is a commitment. Direction is a choice. Direction is a discipline. Kings, direction is vision, structure, rhythm, leadership, protection. Direction is the masculine responsibility that keeps the relationship stable, safe, and growing. Become the man who leads with intention, not ego. Become the man who builds with clarity, not confusion. Become the man who protects with strength, not fear. Because what you don't change, you choose. And this change can't afford excuses. I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Thank you.